Hi, this is English for You. I'm Seb.
And I'm Kat.
And we are still talking about that thing you do when you say things wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could be a bunch of different things, but specifically we're talking about eggcorns.
Yes.
Now, eggcorns, as we said yesterday, are when you mix up two words or two parts of a phrase, but somehow it still makes sense. Because usually the person who's making the eggcorn has only ever seen or heard it or said it, but never seen it in writing.
Yes.
And so they hear something like it and they think, oh, well, it must be these words because this makes sense.
Exactly.
But actually it's wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
So now we have other kinds of language mistakes too that make a little bit less sense. Yeah, because there's definitely things that we do in language, no matter if it's your first language, second language, whatever, that you're going to make mistakes. That's just how it is.
It's just like sometimes when you hear somebody say a phrase, or especially if you're trying to be very fancy or like clever with your language, you just kind of reach into the recesses of your memory and you think, oh, I know this really good phrase.
And then you pull it out.
And then everybody looks at you like, Like, I remember the other day I was talking to my sister and I told her, like, what happened? Oh, yeah, like, something good had happened to her and then something bad had happened. And I said, well, now you know, the worm is on the other foot. And she was like, the what?
The worm? Why do you have worms on your feet?
When do you have worms on your feet?
I think you mixed up the early bird gets the worm and shoe was on the other foot.
Yes.
Right?
So it was, I don't know if that is an eggcorn though, because it doesn't make any sense.
I don't think so. I think it's just a mistake.
Yeah, because a shoe on the other foot, like, it's a good thing to have a shoe on your foot. It's a bad thing not to have it. So if you have, I mean, for the idiom.
Yes.
Like, if the shoe is on the other foot, then things were good for you before, but now they're not so good. Now you've got some kind of adversity that you're facing.
Right.
It's a worm on your foot.
That'd be kind of gross.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
But anyway, we are getting into some more kind of mistakes like this that make language kind of fun, that make English kind of fun to think about. And maybe you've made mistakes like these, maybe you haven't, maybe you've heard other people make them. But first, we're going to go ahead and learn what they are, so let's go ahead and get into the article.
Reading. Eat, drink, and be merry with English eggcorns. You might now be thinking, oh, my friend's eggcorns make me giggle all the time. But not every word error in English is an eggcorn. There are various names for different mistakes, some of which are very funny indeed. One related misstep is a malapropism. This is like an eggcorn in that the replacement word sounds like the right one. However, the new word usage is nonsense. One humorous example is saying someone is at the pineapple of his career instead of the pinnacle or top. Another excellent example of an English misunderstanding is called a mondegreen. This is when someone changes a phrase to have a totally different meaning. The word mondegreen comes from a song. A writer heard the song lyric and laid him on the green as "and Lady Mondegreen." One of the funniest mondegreens comes from rocker Jimi Hendrix' song Purple Haze. Although Hendrix sings, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky," many people instead hear, "Excuse me while I kiss this guy." Whether they're eggcorns, malapropisms, or mondegreens, these language mistakes really make us grin. No language is perfect, and flaws like these ones make English more colorful and more enjoyable.
Okay, so the article begins, you might now be thinking, oh, my friend's eggcorns make me giggle all the time.
So maybe if your friends, make a lot of eggcorns.
Yes, exactly. In fact, the phrase make an eggcorn makes me laugh.
Oh, really?
Like, it just sounds very silly.
Yeah, it does.
That's making, well, I'm giggling right now, actually.
You're making me giggle.
Yeah. So giggle is to laugh in a childish way or in a very low voice. So sometimes when people laugh, they're like shrieking and shouting. They're like, that's not giggling. Giggling is like when you're in school and you and your friends are like making a joke in class, but you don't want to get caught by the teacher. So you're like... That's giggling,
Yeah.
okay? Or maybe you see something which is a little bit funny, not hugely funny, but just makes you like,
Yeah.
So that would be a giggle. And I think giggle can be a noun as well.
Yes, let out a giggle.
Yeah, you can let out a giggle and you can giggle. Our example sentence for giggle, James giggled when he saw the policeman trip over and fall in a bush. Just exactly.
I'm giggling.
Exactly. You can say you're chuckling as well,
Yeah.
right? Chuckle is a
Yeah.
similar thing to giggle.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
That's it.
So your friends' acorns might make you giggle a lot. You might all the time when your friends are talking and, you say silly things. But not every word error in English is an eggcorn. They're not all eggcorns. Eggcorns have to make sense.
Okay, next we read in the article, there are various names for different mistakes, some of which are very funny indeed. Okay, and we're going to pause right here and we're going to take a look at the grammar in this sentence, some of which. Now, what this phrase basically means is that some of the mistakes, known as eggcorns, are very funny. We can use some of which to begin an independent clause that's added information, which is talking about the subject or the object of the sentence. The which is a stand-in basically for whatever you were just talking about. So in the sentence we looked at which means the mistakes, some of which, so many mistakes, some of which are very funny. If the thing we are modifying is plural, we can use some pronouns like all, some, or most to be more specific as well. So let's take a look at the sentence again by using all three of these pronouns, and we can see how they're a little bit different. There are various names for different mistakes, some of which are very funny indeed. That's our original. There are various names for different mistakes, all of which are very funny indeed. So here, by changing it to all, we mean every single kind of mistake is funny. All the different mistakes are funny. They all make you laugh. And thirdly, there are various names for different mistakes, most of which are very funny indeed. So most obviously means that it's not all of the mistakes, but 90% of them, 99%, 80%, almost all of them are very funny. So by changing the pronoun, you can change the meaning of the sentence quite a lot.
All right, so we've talked about eggcorns a lot already. We're going to talk about a couple more different kinds of language mistakes. So the article says one related misstep is a malapropism. Malapropism. I love these ones, and I'm going to tell you why later, but first we have to find out what a misstep is. So when you see this word misstep, you might be tempted to say, oh, it's miss and then tep. No, it's misstep. So you actually have to say it as two syllables, misstep. Miss means to do something wrong, and step is trying to do something, a part of trying to do something, like step 1, step 2, step 3. Put together, it's a step that you take wrongly. In other words, a misstep. Now, you can also use the same root, miss, with mistake. When miss and take, take means to do something or take something, and then miss is do it wrongly. So mistake, take something wrongly.
Exactly. So what is a malapropism? Well, this is like an eggcorn in that the replacement word sounds like the right one. In that is in the way that. So given before the explanation of how something is similar, okay?
So in that they are, a mistake, they are the same as an eggcorn. However, the new word usage is nonsense. So we have two important words in this sentence. Usage is the first one. A usage is a noun that means the way that something is used. In this case, it's particularly the way that words and phrases are used in language. So when you talk about words like play, play has many different usages. You can talk about to play a game. You can talk about to put on a play when you're acting. You can talk about play the violin. You can think of all these different ways to use play. That's why play has many different usages. Now, many words have different usages, but some usages are not so right, like in malapropisms. But an example sentence for usage, you could say, the words pants and biscuit have different usages in British and American English. Isn't that right?
That is very true.
So in American English, pants mean these, what I'm wearing, right?
And in British English, pants mean underwear.
Woo!
Or we say pants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same.
Yeah, that's the same.
Why did I think it was different?
Yeah, pants are underwear in British English. So when I went to the UK, I told one of the people, nice pants, and they were very embarrassed. Yeah.
They got a bit flustered. I still don't know what a biscuit is in the United States.
It's like a scone, kind of. Like a butter scone, a very savory scone.
Because in the UK, a biscuit is like a cookie.
A cookie. Yes, like exactly. A digestive.
A digestive biscuit.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And we also had this word nonsense.
Right. So nonsense is language that has no sense. It's language that has no meaning or words or ideas that are foolish, that are untrue, that are dumb. If you tell somebody, like, your ideas are nonsense, it means, I think that they're just rubbish, they're trashy, they're dumb. You're not using your brain. Your brain is making nonsense. But in language, nonsense can mean, like, this word doesn't mean anything real. So a malapropism is nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. The article continues, one humorous example is saying that someone is at the pineapple of his career instead of the pinnacle or top. Okay, yes, exactly. But that doesn't make any sense at all, right?
The pineapple
of your career. It is quite humorous though, and humorous is an adjective that basically means funny. So something that is humorous makes you laugh. A humorous story, a humorous film, a humorous photograph. Funny, however, could be intentional or unintentional. You know, somebody's behavior could be funny and they don't realize. Whereas a humorous story, it means to be funny. You know, it's comical. It's supposed to make you laugh.
Right.
So Jack looks very funny in that outfit, but at least he likes it. You know, like he doesn't know he looks funny.
Oops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for an example of humorous would be, I love SpongeBob SquarePants for its humorous characters and storylines.
Right. They write that show to be funny.
Exactly. It's not a serious show that people think is funny. It's a very silly show. Similar words could include sense of humor, which is what you think is funny or not funny. So Kat has a very strange sense of humor.
Do
like,
I?
She laughs at the weirdest things.
Do I?
No, you don't. It's just an example.
It could be the truth, but anyway, I mean, we have...
Not in my opinion.
Thanks. So we do have this other word in this sentence that we need to look at, right?
Right, pineapple. No, pinnacle.
Pinnacle!
Let's cut for pinnacle. So pinnacle is a noun that means the top, not just the top, but the very, very top of something, the very highest point. So the pinnacle of a tall building, for example, would be the very, very highest point, you know, on the spire of Taipei 101, right at the very top where the light is that's flashing for the airplanes. That's the pinnacle. We often use this in the phrase that we used in the article to talk about the pinnacle of someone's career, so the very best bit of their career, or we could say the pinnacle of someone's fame, the most famous they were. So at that point, we could also say that someone is peaking. Now, peak is a verb that comes from a noun, also meaning the very top of something. So if someone's career is peaking, it's reaching its very best days.
All right, so if the pinnacle is the top of something and a pineapple is a fruit, yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you can't say somebody's in the pineapple of their career because the pineapple is just a fruit. How would that work? So that's an example of a malapropism. There are many, many more. I think they're all very funny. It depends on what you know and what you like. But the article goes on to say our next example of language mistakes. Another excellent example of an English misunderstanding is called a mondegreen. So here we have another miss word. Like we had misstep, mistake, we have misunderstanding. Now, as I told you before, miss means wrong. And so misunderstanding means a wrong understanding, something you understand badly and you need to be corrected.
Exactly. So what is a mondegreen? Well, the article tells us this is when someone changes a phrase to have a totally different meaning. Okay, so when I see this word, I always think of misheard lyrics.
Yes.
Which is what I called mondegreens before.
Same, me too. I think it's just another kind of phrase for it because mondegreens are usually lyrics or poems.
Yes.
So the article tells us where it comes from. The word mondegreen comes from a song. There you go.
Okay. I don't think it's the song that I'm thinking of.
No.
But the article says, a writer heard the song lyric and laid him on the green as and Lady Mondegreen, which is a lovely turn of phrase, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, if you hear...
Lady Mondegreen.
The whole song is they slayed the Earl of Orlais and laid him on the green. And then if you say they slayed the Earl of Orlais and Lady Mondegreen, it would mean that they killed 2 people instead of 1 person.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
So in that case, it does kind of make sense. You have to know the whole song.
Yes.
Right. But it's a lyric.
Right, exactly. And a lyric is the words to a song. So songs generally are made up of 3 things, I'm going to say. You've got the melody, which is, you know, the instruments, the tunes,
Yes.
The stuff which doesn't have words.
Yeah.
The lyrics, which is the words that are sung by a person, and then the rhythm, which is the beats, the drums, and whatnot. So when you learn the lyrics to a song, you read them and remember them so you can sing the song.
Yeah.
And if you know the words very well, you could also try lip syncing to the song, which is 对嘴. So like you see a lot of performers, sometimes they won't be singing live. They will be dancing and lip syncing to the music.
Yeah. So, or you can go to KTV, and if you know you don't have to know the lyrics. You could just follow the words on the screen.
Oh yeah, you can just read the lyrics on the screen.
Yeah. So that's how you find lyrics. And lyrics are a very common place to see mondegreens. Here's another example. One of the funniest mondegreens comes from rocker Jimi Hendrix's song Purple Haze. Right. Jimi Hendrix, I love him. He's a very, very famous electric guitar player from the 1970s. He was known for playing like really crazy guitar riffs and the national anthem. Sadly, he passed away very young. He's one of the 27 club. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is.
I knew he was very young. I didn't know he was 27.
Yeah, he was 27 when he passed away. But in that
did
time,
he play the guitar with his teeth, or is that someone else?
I think he did that. Yeah, he took his guitar and he played it with his teeth. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. He was a really good guitarist. But he was also a singer as well, because he wrote songs.
And he sang this song, Purple Haze. And I actually got this wrong as well. When I read this article, I was like, oh, really? It's not what I thought it was. So although Hendrix sings "Excuse me while I kiss the sky," many people instead hear "Excuse me while I kiss this guy."
This guy.
This guy.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people mishear the sky as this guy because he's saying "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." It's not clear.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's other acorns like that. There's like, in Bad Moon Rising, a lot of people hear, "There's a bathroom on the right," instead of "There's a bad moon on the rise." There's a lot of mondegreens. I even made one recently where I thought Boys of Summer was Poison Summer.
Poison Summer.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mondegreens. There's a lot of malapropisms. There's a lot of mistakes that you can make by hearing things wrong.
You know Sean Paul, the singer Sean Paul? You know his song Burning?
I don't think so.
In that song, like there's somebody did a whole thing where all the lyrics are changed.
Oh, really?
With malapropisms,
like a whole misread
like when he says
song.
"Angirl-I," they change it to "Angola."
Angola. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all the time. That's all we've got for this article. We've done eggcorns, we've done malapropisms, we've got mondegreens. And so the article says whether they're eggcorns, malapropisms, or mondegreens, these language mistakes really make us grin. To grin means to smile widely, usually with your teeth showing. You can't see that I'm doing it because I have a mask on, but if I'm grinning at you, then my teeth are showing and I've got a really big smile on my face. You can grin in a lot of different ways. You can have a silly grin on your face if you're really happy about something. You can put on a fake grin where you're smiling with your teeth, but your eyes are kind of not smiling, and this is just when you're trying to be polite to somebody. You could even have a scary grin where you put your teeth up but your eyes are kind of crazy. This is called a grimace or a rictus too. Think of movie villains like the Joker or some evil guys. When they smile really big, that's called a grin. So grinning usually shows that you're very excited or very happy about something, or you're thinking that something is really funny or fun. Now, an example sentence for grin could be, Jamie grinned when she saw the big birthday cake on the table. All right, so malapropisms, mondegreens, eggcorns, they all make us grin.
Yes, and as we grin, we are coming towards the end of our article. The article continues, no language is perfect, and flaws like these ones make English more colorful and more enjoyable, right? Who doesn't crack a little laugh when they see someone, mispronounce it, mess up, exactly.
For sure.
Or at themselves.
Yep, of course.
The best conversations are the ones with 8 incorrect words in them.
Yep.
So we have that word flaw there. Now, flaw is a noun which means a problem or an imperfection with something. So, for example, we could talk about a flaw in a design or a flaw in a plan or a personal flaw. Or if you're a perfect person, you could say that you are flawless.
Flawless. Like Beyonce. Flawless.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yes, flawless, like my skin.
Oh.
And if you want to say that something has problems with it, you can say that it is flawed. So F-L-A-W-E-D. So flawed logic, or
a flawed teacup.
Teacup. Oh, yes.
Yeah, like
Cracked.
Plates with flaws, and then like usually they'll have some kind of paint mistake, something like that.
Yes. This writing has so many flaws in it, I can barely read it and understand what it says. So many problems with it.
I hope not.
Anyway, we also saw this word colorful, and here we don't actually mean lots of colors. We're not talking about like a rainbow. We're talking about something that is vibrant and interesting, something with lots of variety. So English is a colorful language. That means there are lots of interesting things about English, lots of different quirks, different rules, different kind of like, hey, why is that kind of things. If we want to talk about a colorful tradition, we're talking about a tradition that has that's very interesting and varies and is different depending on where you go. Or we could say a culture that has lots of colorful traditions. So, for example, Taiwan has many colorful religious traditions, like the Dajia Mazu pilgrimage.
Right.
That's the big one that goes from Taichung to Jiayi. Yeah. So that one it's very interesting. There's lots of different things people do on that trip. And so it's colorful for those reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And we saw one other word in here that was enjoyable. So while things can be colorful, they can be very different and vibrant and full of life, you can also say they're enjoyable. Now, when you have able at the end of a word, it means you can do something, you are able. Enjoy means to take pleasure in something, to like something. So if something is enjoyable, it means you can have fun with it. You can enjoy it. You can have a good time doing it. English can be very enjoyable if you learn in a fun way. So if you don't like English class, it's probably because you're not studying in a fun way. You can have more fun with English. It can be a fun subject. It can be enjoyable. Like our example sentence, I found the movie really enjoyable. I thought the action parts were fun to watch. Yeah, so that's what we've got. We hopefully have shown you an enjoyable time with some of these malapropisms, these different mistakes that we have, and we hope you've had a lot of fun learning about them.
Yes, we hope you've grinned and giggled. Yes, maybe chuckled too.
Yep. So now we've got our For You chat, and we'll end right there.
You chat.
All right, so our For You chat question today, what funny jokes can you make by exchanging a right word for a wrong one? There's a lot of words that sound very similar in English, aren't there?
Yes, there are.
I think even more in Chinese.
Yeah, probably it's something that has like an idiom or like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah. I can think of, Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. And the song goes, her fleece was white. His fleece, its fleece was white as snow. So fleece means like a sheep's wool, right? Like the thick outside hair that it has. But I guess if you changed it to fleas, its fleas were white as snow.
Right, that one.
Fleas are little tiny bugs that live on animals.
Yeah, it changes the image quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, a lamb with white fleas jumping
Mary
all over
had
it.
a filthy little lamb.
Yeah, give that lamb a bath,
gross
please.
lamb that needed a bath.
Yikes.
The end. So on that strong note, we're going to end today's episode.
Yes.
We hope that you enjoyed talking about or learning about I was going to say neologisms.
All sorts of
Malapropisms.
different mistakes.
I wish we had time for neologisms because it's my
all right.
favorite.
We can do another article
We
on
can
them.
do another article on it and talk about it next time. But until then, it's
We'll
goodbye
see you
from
then.
both of us.
All right. Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Giggle. Samantha couldn't stop herself from giggling when she saw her brother's awful new haircut. Usage. Some people think the word silly is mean, but its usage is often positive among friends and family. Humorous. More than 1 million people have watched the humorous video of the dancing cat. Grin. The child grinned when he thought of a trick to play on his friend. Colorful. My friends are a really colorful group. They're all so different but so cool. Enjoyable. We had an enjoyable dinner with Clark and Martha, who are always fun to be around.
智慧小补帖
Nonsense. Pinnacle. Lyric. Flaw.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net